collecting many different things. And when I was in college in Boston, there was this little gem stone store. And I always loved going in there because there were so many stones and minerals and gems from many different places around the world. And so I started collecting them. When I designed a restaurant in Bergdorf Goodman, and after we designed the restaurant, they asked if I would have a store or create a store in the amazing Bergdorf Goodman home floor, which was, so iconic. And I was thinking, I don't have anything. I'm not a product designer. Then I started thinking, actually, I design a lot of things for a lot of my projects. So I went to my stone collection for inspiration. These are some of the stones some of these have been in my archive for some time. If you look at this is just a really raw specimen as opposed to something that has been cut and shaped and honed. So some of them have, they're polished, some of them are raw, some of them have a little bit of both, like this gorgeous stone. So when designing into the stone, I wanted to create something that was functional. And so looking at a box, and what could I do to make a box super cool and beautiful? And you can see this one has a lot of prong settings. All of the stones work to tell a story. So you have some that are raw mineral specimens, some that are just carved out of a rock. They're set in many different ways. And then this is another one that is a bronze with a silver patina. And this one has turquoise and lapis and a crystal. And then inside, a beautiful drawing that tells the story of this box and all the stones. These are all one-of-a-kind, limited edition. And that's what I love, is being experimental and challenging myself and doing new and exciting things with materials that I love. And then from there, I was working on a residential project, and the client needed cabinets that served a particular function. And so I decided that we would design this pair of beautiful cabinets. I think there was about 400 stones that I actually handpicked myself. Then I wanted to experiment with flowers because I love flowers and they make people happy. And so I started sculpting different shapes of all these beautiful flowers and then using the center piece with some of the raw minerals that I had found. And we actually used these on these limited edition head trip sculptures that we do. Some of them had spikes, like Liberty spikes, very punk, and then some of them were a little more feminine. So these are some of these beautiful flowers that were hand sculpted. And I'm thinking now that I want to take these and design a cabinet where all of these are encrusted all over, which I think would be insane. So, when I started out collecting stones, I had very little money. I was in college. I was working and just surviving. And there are things that anyone can do. Just start collecting things that attract you, things that inspire emotion. Start collecting beautiful stones. Put them in a bowl. Lay them out on a tray. Put one incredible specimen like this that you love next to your bed. And it just provides tons of inspiration. Fashion's always been a huge source of inspiration for me. And I can remember when I would go to my grandmother's house, she had this big drawer filled with all these incredible scarves. And I remember always going over there and opening the drawer and pulling all these amazing scarves out and looking at the colors and the graphics and just being so happy and just loving it. And my mother also was collecting scarves too because of my grandmother. And so I still have so many of them. And these are a few. But if you just look at the color and the geometries, and I still reference these. This could be a rug. This could be a color story for a room. These were the first kind of fashion element that was part of my inspiration growing up. I love repetition, and this is a perforation bracelet that I designed. I just love the texture, and it looks very light because of all the perforations. And so that inspired a light fixture. And this is one of the light fixtures that we designed, and you can see the similarities. So jewelry crosses over, lighting, it could also cross over and be the leg on a chair, it could be the door handle on a closet, it can be so many things. We also designed a dining room table out of perforated metal that was insane. And these were just some samples. We looked at doing things. If you can see, these have different scales. This is very fine. A large piece of furniture needed something that had a heavier gauge. So we looked at things that had a larger perforation. Travel is a huge source of inspiration for me, and every time I go to a city, I Google where's the best vintage stores, where's the stone store, where are the museums, where are the galleries, where are the vintage bookstores, which is also a huge source of my inspiration. And I just went to Japan, to Tokyo and Kyoto, and I got a ton of amazing obis, these beautiful sashes. And these, again, are just so inspirational. Let me look, this is like a two-sided, the mixed metals. These are fragments from vintage kimonos from the 1940s to the 1970s. And just look, I mean, the color and the patterns. I mean, how can you not be inspired? It's just so stunning. And this is when we're designing. A lot of times I'll be at home in my archive library and I'll pull together, like I want to have color inspiration for something, and I'll just start pulling these together and say, oh, like these three colors are so cool, I love them, or maybe we need another color that gets added, and then this can be the impetus for a room. So I was in London, and there's really beautiful historic documents there, and this is actually a dress that I was told came from Berlin, and I just loved it. I've had this for probably 15 years, and so we were designing beyond the restaurant at the San Francisco proper. I came back to this dress. I'm like, this is perfect. And so we used this dress for the aprons. So we had all these really cool aprons made, and this is where the dress came into play. And it just completed the story and told the story. I just think design is around us everywhere. You just have to be aware. And when you go to a city, and even in your own city, it's like seek out, go to the bookstore and get lost in an aisle of something that you know nothing about, because you're going to learn from it. And if you've never been to a flea market, go to a flea market and be curious and just get lost in the fun, and you're going to gain knowledge and you're going to educate your eye, which is what it's all about.